Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the late pick 4 at Tampa Bay Downs on Tampa Bay Saturday with the Grade 2 Hillsborough Stakes. All our stakes previews this week presented by DRF Bets. Sign up now, receive a $150 sign-up bonus. DRF.com/join is where you need to head on over to. The promo code is TV150. Let's take a look at this field. Some really nice fillies and mares going 9 furlongs on the turf at Tampa Bay Downs on Saturday. The 2 off limits is at 3-1. The 9 La Coronel is 5-2. They're going to vie for favoritism in the Hillsborough. Let's begin with the morning line favorite, the number 9, La Coronel. This horse, a Grade 1 winner at Keeneland in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, a race in which she kind of just stole away to an easy lead, and she caught everybody else napping. She was able to hold on over Daddy's Little Darling, who's also in this field. Last time out in the Endeavor, not as easy a trip. Yeah,
I guess not. I mean, in a lot of ways, when you go back and watch the Endeavor, I mean, she just wasn't going to beat that horse that got to the front. Dona Bruja just went right to the lead in there and was never giving La Coronel a chance in there. She just dominated that field. I thought as a first start back off the layoff, it was fine. It didn't really do anything to change my opinion of La Coronel, and I just personally, I know she's won a Grade 1 race already. I never thought she was that good. We'll see what happens. She can obviously take a step forward second off the layoff.
But she certainly fits in this race. And I think you can look at the Endeavor and say that Dona Brua, you know, sort of assumed the La Coronel QE2 Cup. It was surprising and wonderful ride that she was able to get to the lead. La Coronel had to kind of get into the race earlier than I think Jose Lezcano wanted, especially first time off the layoff. She ran second. She was never going to beat Dona Bruja that day, but she certainly fits in this field.
Yeah, 100% she fits in this field. There's a reason she's the morning line favorite. She's got plenty of races that make her a contender. I'm just not that big a fan.
She's the morning line favorite. You and I think that maybe the 2 off limits for Chad Brown ends up the post time favorite. All she did towards the tail end of 2017 was win 4 consecutive races, including the Grade 1 Matriarch with a 105 Beyer speed figure in. Well, she came from well back in the Matrix. She doesn't need to be that far back to succeed.
No, she doesn't. You can sort of put her anywhere you want in a race, and I feel like you could sort of look at her and look at that 4-year-old campaign she had over here for Chad, where she kept losing at shorter kind of prices, and feel like, you know, you look at her campaign last year and go, where did that come from? But this horse was so unlucky so many times as a 4-year-old, running really well and having things not work out for her, and she just really found herself last year. I mean, it was one super strong performance after another. To me, you know, you have the layoff to deal with in this race, and that has to give you at least a little bit of a concern because La Coronel already has a race. But to me, it's not even close. If you told me I could just take one of these 2 horses, I'm taking this one.
Are you concerned about the 1 1/8?
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe she's a little better going shorter, but boy, I feel like she's supposed to be able to get this distance, Dan.
Chad also has the 3 4-star Crook, a New York bred that really does nothing but win. 9 for 14 lifetime. Chad's found great spots for her. He rarely ventured out of the New York bred ranks. When he did, it was a Grade 3 at Parks that she was able to take down. A Grade 1 at Woodbine. Maybe not the strongest field in the world. I know Kitten's Roar came back to win the Gold at Cobra with a 99 Beyer, but that was a field that she certainly fit in. Where does she fit here from a class standpoint? Because, you know, her usual race is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's a couple of the really good horses, but she's still pretty good. She shows up and she runs every time. If you're just, you know, basing it off figures, you know, she's got the figures to say that she fits in this field, but I think she might be in a little over her head against a horse like Off Limits, if Off Limits comes back running off the layoff.
Daddy's Little Darling showed great tactical speed to win the American Oaks, and that's kind of been the key for her. I know she's been successful coming from way out of it. She began her career as a true one-run deep closer, but in the QE2 Cup, she was able to stay close to a moderate pace. In the American Oaks, able to stay close to a moderate pace. She has credentials. She's run some fast races. How much did the trip, though, work to her favor last time? I think if you reverse the trips with Madame Dancelette, she doesn't win.
I agree with that. And, you know, obviously that American Oaks, it just wasn't the strongest field in the world either. It was just a great spot for her, and she broke through with a Grade 1 win. But she also, as you point out, had run really well in the QE2, where they had to sort of take her out of her style for the first time, and she showed that she can do that. I think that she will run well in this race. I would more use her underneath than on top, because I think the 2 favorites are probably a little bit better than she is, but I would use her somewhere.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. I want to first focus on the horse that Timeform US has in second, the 6 Lovely Bernadette. Her Beyer speed figures a little bit light. She's very underrated. She won her last 3 starts last year, a couple of them graded. She took down Daddy's Little Darling in the Mrs. Revere, and I know the race was over yielding ground that she seemed to appreciate, and the horse she was pressing was 1,000,000 to 1, but she really ran from start to finish that day. Now she's got to do it against older horses.
We'll see what happens. I mean, can she keep the improvement going? Because she really improved at the end of last year. One really good race after another to close it out. She was really headed the right way. If she can keep that progression going, she can go with horses like this.
Timeform US also has the 7 and the 8 up close. The 7, Dynatail, expected to make the pace. Dynatail comes out of a race that produced Truly Together, who finished 3rd behind La Coronel in the Endeavor with a 93 Beyer speed figure. This is a nice filly who likes Tampa Bay Downs a lot, just happens to catch a tough spot.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot for her. You're right that she likes this turf course, and if she gets to the front and maybe they don't go after too hard, maybe she'll still be there sort of mid-stretch. I'd be surprised if she was still there at the end. These horses are just better than she is.
Only finished a length, though, behind La Coronel in the Florida Oaks last year. La Coronel kind of took the requisite move forward.
Possible trip in that race, La Coronel, though.
Do it. Lovely Loy Ree, another one that has run well at Tampa Bay. I know she's 0 for 4 there, but a couple of those races came against Tepin in races like the Endeavor and Hillsborough, and she ran super. No match for La Coronel last time out. Thought she got a good trip, but it was her first start off the lap. Maybe we see a forward move for a really good trainer.
Yeah, she's pretty good. Unfortunately for her, she keeps showing up in the Hillsborough every year, and this race keeps coming up tough and probably a little too tough for her.
I know you're a big fan of the 10 Proctor's Ledge, who just blossomed at Saratoga last year, winning the Lake George and the Lake Placid. The QE2 Cup was a bit of a disappointing effort, but some horses just don't fire at Keeneland the way they fire at other places. And Brendan Walsh had a breakout 2017. And here's a great formulator fact for Proctor's Ledge. For the past couple of years, older turf routers, 61 to 180-day layoffs, 31%, a $5.30 ROI on her best day. She is a major factor. How ready do you think she'll be against this field off the layoff?
You know, it's the real question, but you know what? She's off the layoff, and so is off limits. And so, you know, we'll just see what happens. And in a lot of ways, you have the fewer distance questions with Proctor's Ledge than when you have with that horse. I had a tough time deciding between the two of them. I was just, you know, I was so taken with the races off limits kept running last year that I sided with her, but I'm going to be using Proctor's Ledge in every bet that I make. I think she's a super dangerous horse in here.
Tricky Escape is underrated as well. She won the Grade 3 Violet at this distance at Monmouth, far from embarrassed against favored Kitten's Roar at Kentucky Downs in her subsequent start, and just never had a chance in a short field with no pace at Belmont. She was really game to win on dirt last time out, although she had the edge. She wants dirt.
Yeah, that's true. The dirt didn't really affect her probably as much as it did some others, but I mean, her turf form, there's just nothing to knock about it. She kept getting better. That Belmont race, first of all, the mile was probably too short for her anyway, and she just had no chance the way that race was run. Her prior turf races were all good. She just is another one. She happens to catch a pretty tough field for this race.
Bonita 30 to 1 is going to be one of the longer shots on the board. She's a nice filly who just might be in too deep.
Yeah, I like her trainer a lot. I just don't like her in this race.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 2 Hillsborough Stakes. We like Off Limits. We think she's simply the best horse. Whether Chad has her ready or if this is just a first step back, that's a different story. I think you're going to want coverage in the pick 4. It's 2-10-9-1 for you. It's 2-9-3-5 for me. You'd use Proctor's Ledge a lot.
Yeah, I'm mostly 2-10 in the pick 4 and pick 5. I'm backing up only with La Coronel just because I feel like the other two might be better than she is, but I won't be getting knocked out of multis by her.
Mostly 2-9 for me. I think Off Limits, though, going to get through this first time back for Chad in the Grade 2 Hillsborough. If you are playing the Tampa Bay Saturday card from home, it's Derby Day at Tampa Bay Downs. Please sign up to DRF Bets, $150 sign-up bonus. DRF.com/join, promo code TV150, and approximate post time for the Hillsborough, 4:20 Eastern. Good luck.